Well, let's get more on this story because Rune Thomas Ege was one of the first journalists on the scene after last Friday's attacks, and he joins me on the line from Oslo. Now, Rune, as police receive more criticism over their response, especially in response to their call time to the island, what do you make of their reaction? Could they, in your opinion, have been quicker?
Well, it seems like this has gotten a lot of attention, especially among the foreign journalists. And in my opinion, they had two options. One was to wait for helicopters being scrambled from one of the army bases in Utoeya, which is a bit outside of Oslo. Then they had to get themselves a pickup point, load the gear, fly into the island, etc. Or they could jump into the cars, go directly to the island, which is, I'd say, approximately 35 kilometers outside of Oslo. So what police have been repeatedly saying the last couple of days is that they made the right decision. They just jumped in the car, made their way to the island, and was there within, from the time where their assistance was requested from the police district covering Utoeya until they arrested Verdens Gang. It took them less than 1 hour, which is, even by international standards, quite fast, I would say.
But you mentioned the helicopters in particular. The helicopter, a press helicopter, was up over the skies, and yet there was no police helicopter available at all. That's a big question mark hanging over why that was the case.
Well, I'll try not to, defend the police or criticize them. But the thing is that the press helicopter was already airborne when the shooting at Utoeya was reported. So they just redirected the helicopter and arrived at the scene quite early. There was no police helicopter on duty in Oslo at the time because Oslo has only, or Norway itself, we only have one police helicopter, which is based in Oslo, and it was off duty at the time when the shooting happened. So what they had to do was wait for backup from army helicopters if they were to fly helicopters into the island.
And Rune, Jens Stoltenberg has announced a commission. It's going to have a very wide remit looking at the bombing and the mass killings on Utoeya. What do you think they should be focusing on with this commission?
Well, it's kind of hard to say. There's a lot of aspects here which are interesting. The response time of the police is one thing, but that's a really small thing which has already been debated and been looked into quite thoroughly. Another thing is that how was Verdens Gang how could he actually park a car full of, almost 1,000 kilos of explosives? Experts say, against the wall of the main government building in Oslo, against the wall of the office of the Prime Minister. I guess they've been talking about closing the streets around the government quarters for ages, and this, I guess, this is going to be one of the things they will be looking into. And then again, they also will be looking into his background. Why wasn't it discovered that he's been planning this for 9 years?
Okay, Rune Thomas, we have to leave it there. We're out of that time. But Rune Thomas, one of the first Norwegian journalists on the scene at Utoeya Island, thank you very much for speaking to BBC Newsday. Now, let's cross over to Rico, because, Rico, there are more market jitters over America's debt crisis. What's been happening?